Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, yesterday, earth-shattering news in our hobby. Yes, we're not gonna we're not taking the 1.0A OGL away for now. I'm sorry. They're not making it irrevocable. They're saying we're leaving OGL 1.0A in place as is, untouched. Okay. For now. However, the Creative Commons is here to stay. So now, why do I say we're not going to see One D&D released under an OGL? This is why. OGL 1.0A and 1.0 have this as their Section 9. Updating the license, Wizards or its designated agents may publish updated versions of this license. You may use any, you can underline that if you want to, any authorized version of this license. Remember, authorized, we can deauthorize and this all goes away. They still haven't said it's irrevocable, so this part, taking it with a grain of salt, of this license to copy, modify, and distribute any open game content originally distributed under any version of this license. So what does that mean? It means I can use this license right now to still access the 3X SRD and the D20 modern SRD. I can that was originally distributed under a different version of this license or whatever. I can still use this. That's fine. And I can use it right up to 5.1. However, if One D&D doesn't release under an OGL, you can't use the OGL with One D&D, right? Once they release it and they call it an open game license, I can now take 1.0A and start doing stuff for One D&D, theoretically. So, is it going to be a game system license? Is it going to be a controlled system license? Who the F knows? However, we already have an idea of what they're doing because of the DM's Guild, right? The DM's Guild isn't an OGL, it's its own separate agreement. You get access to much more of the IP that isn't technically released under the OGL, but you also give Wizards and Drive-Thru half your monies. Interesting, right? Go figure that one out. By the way, I'll do a follow-up video probably tomorrow about Drive-Thru, and apparently there were plans in the making there. So be happy that your OGL is for now in place. So why do I think that One D&D will not be compatible with 5e? Well, if One D&D is compatible with 5e, you can reverse engineer. You can write stuff using the 5.1 OGL and SRD, right? Because this is basically a 5.1 open game license or the Creative Commons. And you can replicate, I am sure, One D&D. So, I'm not saying that this is going to be what 4E was to 3X. God knows none of us want that shit again. But remember, 4E was designed with the idea that a virtual tabletop would be integral to the game design. It was pushing that envelope years, over a decade before we thought, all right, decade and a half, we thought of this shit, of actually, oh my God, Wizards of the Coast is trying to take D&D digital. They tried it before. Remember Gleemax? Remember the murder-suicide of the programmers for the 4E VTT? The planned microtransactions, right? Because D&D was under-monetized. So the reason why 4E played out as it did on the table is because it was designed for the VTT. One D&D is going to be designed from the VTT up. When you play on a VTT, like Roll20, you play in a VTT like Fantasy Grounds, you are playing with a VTT that is trying to emulate your tabletop. Why? Because you're playing tabletop games that are designed by their very nature to be played around the dining room table, on the picnic table in the backyard, or at the cafeteria table, right? That's what they are geared for, to replicate. Wizards of the Coast is not going in that direction. Wizards of the Coast has, to some extent, seeded the tabletop arena, as in the physical tabletop, and the VTTs that reinvent the physical tabletop. They're kind of seeding that. They're like, all right, because they're going to offer something better. They're going to offer something different. They're going to offer Unreal Engine powered 3-dimensional virtual tabletop gaming that's going to be like you're right there with the character, yet you don't need any imagination. Okay, they're cutting out the middleman. So One D&D is going to be designed that way. It's going to be designed like kind of like 4E was, right? With the idea that it's going to be played on a virtual tabletop. The physical tabletop aspect, you sitting around with your friends, that's going to be an afterthought. They are seeding that market with their decision to open up the 5.1 SRD to the Creative Commons. They're seeding that. Yes, it's a victory to us who are tabletop gamers, RPGers, right? Old school. And old school right now pretty much means anybody before, like, I don't know, before COVID who started playing. But if you are somebody who has only experienced gaming through the virtual tabletop, Wizards is going to take your tabletop, amp it to 11, and then go higher. It's going to be Spinal Tap and then beyond. And that's what they're counting on. So, yes, we won, but it's a market they didn't plan on really needing or keeping anyway. As others have said, their fear was other VTTs encroaching on their market, which they plan on doing a slam dunk on, theoretically, on the VTT market. So now expect them to double up on One D&D being built for the VTT on up. Again, I don't see much compatibility between 5.1 D&D material and One D&D. I believe that when Pathfinder 2 was being designed, they were saying, oh, it's going to be backwards compatible, and it effectively isn't. I suspect that the evolution of One D&D at this point is going to change. Before, maybe it was a hybrid. It's like, we want something that kind of can cover tabletop RPGs and the VTT. They're going to go hard in for the VTT. Mark my words. But of course, we shall see. Folks, on that note, tonight at 8 p.m., Rach and I will be doing the Gamers Health live stream. This is going to be a very interesting episode because we've been dealing with stress in the community, and now that stress has been relieved, but there's still more anxiety. So we'll talk about that and talk about some methods maybe to deal with such. The link on the bottom of the screen, Tenkars-Tavern.games, Humble Kobold. If you want to support the work that we do, we did a live stream last night. It had well over 100 people watching us live. Awesome. Also, nearly 800 have now watched last night's live stream video. We talked about all what's going on in this industry and this hobby of ours. We love doing these live streams. When you support us through our affiliate links or when we're monetized, well, we're not, it allows me to make sure that all my co-hosts have equipment they need. Apparently, Bad Mike needs a better internet connection. I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Send him back to the warehouse is what I got to do. But join us tonight, 8 p.m. below. It's an affiliate link. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will hopefully see many of you tonight. Later, folks.